Mafia traitors have always been part of the history of mafia families. The criminal world has always been about survival, but some, called rats to survive, had betrayed. The mafia often uses the words of Julius Caesar, "A traitor is more dangerous than an opponent." This concept describes the particular danger that a traitor poses, as they can damage from within and undermine the trust and unity of a group or army. We will explore the 10 mafia traitors who betrayed their own families. Anthony Casso. Anthony Salvatore Casso, known as Gaspipe, was a high-ranking member of New York City's Lucchese crime family. Born in 1940 in Brooklyn, Casso was deeply entrenched in organized crime from a young age, with his father also involved in the underworld. His nickname, Gaspipe, came from his father's preferred weapon, a gas pipe, symbolizing Casso's own brutality. Casso rapidly rose through the Lucchese family's ranks, engaging in drug trafficking, extortion, loan sharking, and murder. He was implicated in over 36 murders, either personally carrying them out or ordering them. Partnering with Vic Amuso, Casso took control of the Lucchese family in 1986, becoming underboss and enforcing their reign with ruthless efficiency. In the early 1990s, law enforcement intensified efforts against organized crime, leading to Casso's arrest in 1993. To avoid a life sentence, he agreed to become a government informant, providing extensive details about mafia operations. However, his cooperation was short-lived due to ongoing criminal activities, resulting in the revocation of his deal and a life sentence in prison. Casso passed away in 2020 at the age of 78, succumbing to COVID-19 while serving his prison sentence. Ken Eto. Ken Eto, also known as Tokyo Joe, was an unlikely figure in the American Mafia, notable for being one of the few Asian Americans to rise through the ranks. Born in California in 1919, Eto overcame significant racial prejudice to become a key player in the Chicago outfit, as well as one of Al Capone's most trusted men. His sharp mind and business acumen made him a pivotal figure in the outfit's illegal gambling operations, overseeing a network of gambling dens and betting parlors. Eto's life took a dramatic turn in 1983 when he was arrested on federal charges. Fearing he might turn informant, the Chicago outfit ordered a hit on him. On February 10, 1983, Eto was ambushed and shot 3 times in the head. Miraculously surviving the assassination attempt, Eto decided to cooperate with law enforcement. Even today, it's unclear whether to label Tokyo Joe as a traitor. He was shot by members of his own mafia and later became an informer. However, from the mafia's perspective, he was shot because they believed he was already providing information at that time. Henry Hill. Henry Hill was a notorious figure in the American Mafia, infamous for his role in the Lucchese crime family and his dramatic turn as a government informant. Born in Brooklyn on June 11, 1943, Hill was drawn to organized crime at an early age. By his teenage years, he was already working for Paul Vario, a capo in the Lucchese family, and quickly rose through the ranks thanks to his charisma and criminal skills. Hill was deeply involved in major heists, including the 1978 Lufthansa heist, which stands as one of the biggest heists in U.S. history. However, his criminal empire faced a seismic shift in the late 1970s when he was arrested on drug charges. Faced with a potentially life-threatening prison sentence and the dangerous threat of mafia punishment, Hill made a fateful choice. He became an informant for the FBI. This risky move led to his entry into the Witness Protection Program and was instrumental in the conviction of several high-ranking mobsters, including those behind the Lufthansa robbery. Philip Leonetti. Philip Leonetti, aka Crazy Phil, born December 14, 1959 in Philadelphia, was a high-profile mobster whose criminal career and eventual turn as an informant made him a pivotal figure in organized crime history. Guided by his influential uncle, Nicodemo Little Nicky Scarfo, Leonetti was drawn into the world of crime from a young age. He quickly ascended the ranks, known for his brutal efficiency and involvement in serious crimes like loan sharking, drug trafficking, and murder. By the 1980s, Leonetti had become a key enforcer and underboss within the Philadelphia crime family. His role was central to orchestrating major criminal operations and maintaining the family's power. His reign, however, faced challenges in the early 1990s due to mounting legal pressures and internal conflicts. In a dramatic turn, Leonetti decided to cooperate with the FBI, opting for a life in the Witness Protection Program to avoid severe charges and possible retaliation. His cooperation was a game changer, providing vital intelligence on the crime family structure, criminal activities, and planned murders. His testimony led to the conviction of several high-ranking mobsters and caused significant disruption within the organization. Stephen Fleming. Stephen Fleming, infamously known as the Rifleman, a nickname he had since the Korean War because of his accurate shooting, was a key figure in the Boston Mafia. Notorious for his involvement in organized crime and his eventual betrayal. Born on June 9, 1934 in Boston, Massachusetts, Fleming rose through the ranks of the New England criminal underworld, becoming a significant player in the Mafia's operations. His criminal activities ranged from extortion and loan sharking to drug trafficking, and he was deeply involved in orchestrating violent crimes, earning his nickname due to his expertise with firearms and his ruthless demeanor. Fleming's criminal career was marked by his close association with notorious mobsters like James Whitey Bulger. As an enforcer, he played a critical role in maintaining the Mafia's grip on their criminal enterprises and executing violent acts when necessary. His influence and brutality made him a feared and respected figure within the organization. The early 1990s brought intense legal scrutiny and internal turmoil for the Boston Mafia. Facing severe charges and potential life imprisonment, Fleming made the pivotal decision to cooperate with law enforcement. In 1995, he turned informant, providing the FBI with crucial information about the Boston Mafia's operations, structure, and criminal activities. His testimony led to the arrest and conviction of several high-profile mobsters, including his former associate Whitey Bulger. Fleming's betrayal was a significant blow to the Boston Mafia, marking him as a traitor in the eyes of his former associates. Alphonse Darco. Alphonse Darco, a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family, earned a reputation in the underworld that was both feared and respected. Known by nicknames such as Little Al and the Beast, Darco's rise through the ranks of the mob was marked by his involvement in key illegal operations, including loan sharking and drug trafficking. His nickname, Little Al, was a sign of his position within the organization, distinguishing him from others with similar names. The Beast, on the other hand, reflected his fearsome reputation for ruthlessness and efficiency. These designations symbolized his important role and the respect he commanded among his peers. Despite his formidable presence, Darco's credibility began to wane in the early 1990s due to mounting legal pressure and threats from rival factions. Faced with a growing threat to his life and the prospect of serious legal consequences, he made the dramatic decision to betray his former associates. In 1991, Darco's choice to cooperate with the FBI was a turning point. His detailed testimony provided critical information that led to numerous arrests and significant disruption within the Gambino family. This act of betrayal marked him as a traitor within the underworld, forcing him to enter the Witness Protection Program to escape retribution. Michael Dilonardo. Michael Dilonardo, also known as Mikey Scars, was a significant figure in the Gambino crime family. Born on December 10, 1957, in Brooklyn, New York, Dilonardo's entry into the Mafia world was facilitated by his family's criminal connections and his own early involvement in street-level crimes. By the 1980s and 1990s, he had risen through the ranks, becoming deeply involved in loan sharking, extortion, drug trafficking, and violent crimes. Dilonardo's criminal activities included overseeing illegal gambling operations and participating in high-profile violent acts, such as the murder of Michael the Butcher Amato, a case tied to internal power struggles within the Gambino family. His reputation for ruthlessness and efficiency made him a key player in the organization, respected and feared for his ability to maintain control over the family's illicit enterprises. However, the late 1990s and early 2000s brought significant legal and internal pressures. Facing the prospect of severe prison sentences and fearing retribution, Dilonardo made the decision to cooperate with law enforcement in 2003. His choice to become an informant was driven by the combination of impending legal trouble and personal safety concerns. As an informant, Dilonardo provided the FBI with detailed information about the Gambino family's operations and managed to convict over 80 mobsters. Tomaso Busetta. Tomaso Busetta, often referred to as the boss of two worlds, was a prominent figure in the Sicilian Mafia. Known for his role as a high-ranking mobster, Busetta's life and criminal career were deeply intertwined with the operations of the Cosa Nostra, the notorious Sicilian Mafia organization. His criminal career began in the early 1950s, during which he rose through the ranks of the Cosa Nostra, becoming deeply involved in illegal activities like drug trafficking, extortion, and murder. Busetta's influence and power within the organization made him a central player in the Mafia's operations and internal conflicts. The turning point in Busetta's life came in the early 1980s. After being arrested in Brazil and extradited to Italy in 1980, he faced severe legal pressures and threats from within the Mafia. In 1984, fearing for his life and facing the possibility of a long prison sentence, Busetta chose to cooperate with Italian authorities. His decision to turn informant was motivated by his desire to escape his dire situation and the constant threat of violence from his former associates. Busetta's cooperation was groundbreaking. His testimony provided critical insights into the Cosa Nostra's operations and exposed the identities of numerous high-ranking mobsters, including the infamous boss Salvatore "Toto" Riina, known as the Beast. His revelations were instrumental in the Maxi trial of the late 1980s, leading to the arrest and conviction of many key figures in the Sicilian Mafia. Tomaso Busetta, in other words, is known as the greatest traitor in the history of the Italian Mafia, having led to the imprisonment of 475 Mafia members in 1986. Joseph Vachi. Joseph Vachi, often known by his nickname Joe Valachi, was a notorious figure in organized crime. He was a highly respected mobster in the Genovese family, serving as a capo and enforcer, managing criminal operations and executing violent acts. His significant role in illegal activities made him a key figure until his arrest in 1962 on charges of narcotics trafficking and conspiracy. This arrest set the stage for his dramatic transformation from mobster to informant. Fearing for his life and facing serious prison time, he chose to cooperate with federal authorities. His decision to testify before a U.S. Senate committee in 1963 was revolutionary. During his testimony, Valachi publicly acknowledged the existence of the Mafia, a secretive organization that had operated in the shadows. His disclosures included detailed insights into Mafia operations, its structure, and the term Cosa Nostra, meaning our thing in Italian. Valachi's revelations were a watershed moment in the fight against organized crime, as they provided unprecedented public and legal scrutiny of the Mafia. His testimony not only exposed the inner workings of the criminal organization, but also popularized the term Cosa Nostra, linking it with the Mafia in the public's consciousness. SalvatoreGravano. SalvatoreGravano, also known as Sammy the Bull, is a notorious figure in the annals of organized crime. Born on March 12, 1945 in Brooklyn, New York, Gravano rose to prominence as a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family. Known for his violent reputation and strategic mind, he He served as the underboss under the infamous mob boss, John Gotti. Gravano's criminal career began in the 1960s, engaging in a variety of illicit activities from loan sharking to drug trafficking. His rise through the ranks of the Gambino family was marked by his ruthlessness and efficiency. Gravano was deeply involved in numerous criminal enterprises, but his most notorious crimes involved his role in the 1976 murder of Paul Castellano, the then boss of the Gambino family. Castellano's assassination paved the way for John Gotti to take over as boss, with Gravano as his trusted underboss. Gravano's downfall began with his arrest in 1990. The arrest came as part of Operation Donnie Brasco, an undercover investigation into the Gambino family. Gravano was charged with a range of serious offenses, including murder, drug trafficking, and racketeering. Facing multiple life sentences without parole, Gravano decided to turn state's witness. Gravano's transition from a trusted mobster to a government informant is one of the most dramatic in Mafia history. In 1991, Gravano agreed to cooperate with the federal authorities. His decision to testify against his former boss, John Gotti, was driven by his desire to avoid a life sentence and by his disillusionment with the Mafia's internal politics. Gravano's testimony was pivotal in Gotti's conviction on charges of murder, racketeering, and conspiracy. Gravano's testimony was also crucial in providing insights into the murder of Paul Castellano, which had been a turning point in the Gambino family's history. These former mobsters have earned their reputation as the biggest traitors in Mafia history. The world of crime is incredibly tough and revolves around survival, as demonstrated by these well-known mobsters who chose to betray their own in order to stay alive.